Once again, it's the Grunge Bible Podcast. Welcome back. This is episode 112. My name is Chris Salona, and I'm joined by Ethan Shalloway here once again. Ethan, how are we doing?
I'm doing really good, man. If this is your first time listening, welcome. If you're a long time listener,
you picked a great first time.
You picked a great one. If you're a long time listeners, welcome. Thank you. We're back again into the flood. I am doing well. It was a really, really solid week. It was a very productive week. It was one of those ones where I worked really hard in all my aspects of life, but I didn't get overwhelmed, and I feel really accomplished at the end of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was good. It was a good balance of everything. So, good work and play, you know? So, totally. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. You?
Yeah, this was a busy week of life, but busy for a lot of the correct reasons. Some would say all the right reasons. All the right reasons. Even today, this episode comes out on May the 15th. We're sitting here on May the 12th. And it seems like the last few weeks we're just trying to break our own record for how late we can record this podcast.
I almost suggested 3 a.m.
We could lie and tell them that it's 3 a.m. But
we already said it.
In service to those who listen, it's 11:30 p.m. Eastern on a Friday night. So if you want to know how the Grunge Bible Boys get down on the weekend, you know that we're just podcasting. That's what we do.
It's closing time. I love that we throw in different song lyrics and titles into.
Yeah, it's really important. There's no other choice, and there's no excuses not to.
Exactly, dude.
There's zero chance that we get through an episode without including at least a couple of titles.
Exactly. I mean, I was gonna say a Rooster quote, but whatever.
I mean, they can't kill us, so
exactly.
They know that by now.
So we are chugging along, like you said, 112 episodes. It's May in 2023. Energy levels are high, and that comes. And Chris, we got a good episode coming up. We have another anniversary, two anniversaries coming up. One for the band and one for the artist in a not so great way, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's still an anniversary, I guess.
Yeah, I would consider it. So this episode is coming out on the 15th of May, and the next week. If you're listening to this shortly after we post it, it's busy. May 18th marks the 6th anniversary of Chris Cornell's death. Chris Cornell passed away on May 18th, 2017. One of the biggest moments and most vivid memories that I have, I think, in our friendship as it relates to the genre was waking up that morning and learning the news. So we're definitely going to discuss that today. But as it relates to Chris and his body of work, later on this week on May 21st, it marks the anniversary of the release of Down on the Upside, the final Soundgarden album before they broke up for their 12 or 13-year breakup. That was released on May the 21st, 1996. So that is the distinction of being the youngest Soundgarden album that is still older than me. I'm older than King Animal, thankfully, because that came out in like 2012. We would have many issues if I was not older.
I can't wait to do a King Animal episode.
Oh yeah, it's coming. It definitely is. We're meandering through. We've hit Bad Motorfinger, we've hit Super Unknown, and Down on the Upside is the natural
now
third step for that, and we're definitely looking forward to getting into that one. Today, we don't have to wait any longer. It's now. It's here.
If you are listening right now, there's an opportunity to support us, and that's through the wonderful Patreon. So we have 3 different levels you can do that at: a $2, a $5, and a $10. So please check the links in the show notes or in our bio to be able to fund this enterprise, as we like to say, because it wouldn't be possible without those people. And our top level are very special to us, and this is the time of the show when Chris gets to espouse more information about those people.
Absolutely. And Ethan, I have to say, I think that was a Grunge Bible first. That was the first time that you introed the Patreon section, and you did a fantastic job. So I really
That's definitely not the first time.
it's the first time in a while. I have a short memory. I'm only focused on the present.
Probably in a while. We've done a lot of episodes, Chris.
We've done a lot of episodes. Yeah. Well, I was going to make that remark. But we did
get into a rhythm. We've been in a really nice rhythm lately, so why not?
I was going to make that remark. I think when we first started the podcast, I feel like every week we were like, oh wow, we're at 28 episodes. That's a lot. And once you reach 100, there's a lot of space out there between 100 and the next milestone. So it's like, all right, 112, 135. Like it's not important. So there's nothing we can really say. But what we can say that is important are the names of the people who choose to support us at the top level on Patreon. So we're lucky enough that we have a really good community here that listens to the show. We're even luckier that we have people that choose to review us, and we're the luckiest that we have people who choose to support us financially. I mean, there's a lot of people that listen. Not everybody supports us financially, but some do.
Some do.
Some
yes,
do.
Chris.
Not everybody does. Some do. And even the Patreon supporters. We have a number of Patreon supporters, but not everybody chooses to be a top-level Patreon supporter.
Right.
But some do.
Some do.
And those some who do, I'm happy to read their names right now. I would like to thank Christine Shepard, Corden Stewart, What the Fuck's Up Denny's, Shoe the Shoeless, Seattle 4 Fanboy from New Jersey, Marianne, Lauren Irene, Blue Owl, Alexa Shannon, Black Hole Sean, Alex Long, Millie, Nikki Six, Rachel Corning, Brother Nature, Captain Hightop, Kara K, Eddie Vedder got me through my second divorce, Doug Endy, Chris LSMS, Carlene Salona, Jamie Lynn, Jade Mercado, Granny Grunge, Faith Bittner, Fresh Tendonitis, and Fuck Soup. The hallowed some who do.
It's amazing. Oh, yeah. And that list needs to grow. It's been a while. So if you're out there listening, it's time to buck up and take the leap.
We haven't rung the bell in a long time.
Yeah. And we're getting pretty pissed about it, to be honest. If I'm being honest.
I'm a little upset. If it was earlier in the day and if I had more energy, I would be more upset. But it's 11:30 p.m., so I can only be so angry right now.
And in more news, something that we started last week and that we are going to continue is Grunge Bible is trying to sell a house.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is our new goal. We're really trying to sell a house. So if you're out there listening and you're looking to sell your house or maybe buy a house, we want to sell one really, but if you're looking to buy as well, we have just the guy for you. My brother, who has anteed up and gave us a great lucrative deal that if we can convince somebody out there that you can solve all your problems by contacting my brother Quinn Shalloway, and he can help you, give you all the financial advice to sell that house or buy a house. And
he's the ultimate real estate headhunter.
He is the headhunter. He's based in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So if you're in that area, he's boots on the ground for you. But if you're in any other place in the nation, he will find you the agent that you need to get the job done. And by doing that, you're going to buy our next set of microphones because he's going to cut us a little bit of the deal. And like I said, if you sell a house, you're going to make money. Quinn's going to make money. We're going to make money. So I just think, Chris, I was listening back to last week's little bit we said, and I really want to sell a house now. I'm like, I think it would really be so cool, dude.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Say what you will. I'm not quite yet at the point where I'm able to hop into the real estate market and buy something for myself, and
but
something that I aspire to. But that's the thing. Some people are, some are, and like people buy houses. Some people do, and some people are looking to do that right now. Some people are looking to sell, and I think when it comes to a lot of things like that, it's like purchasing a car, obviously purchasing a home. Like there's a lot of things that there's so many people that are vying for your business and for your attention and for what you have to offer, and I think it's so important that you solicit and you gain recommendations from people that whose opinions you value. And a lot of people who are listening right now, you've spent quite a bit of time with us over the last few years through this podcast, perhaps even longer through the page, and this is our recommendation if you were looking for real estate information and assistance. Quinn Shalloway is the man of the hour. He's a man for all seasons.
When it comes down to, like you said, you got, when you're doing something like this or anything, you choose to support someone or something, right. And this is a chance to do right with people that you have a connection with. It's not a random real estate agent. It's connected to the Grunge Bible, so that's why it's really cool. Because if you're gonna give your time and effort, you might as well do it with somebody that,
well, not only that,
you know.
speaking to that point, we have been very selective over the 2+ years that we've run this show. We've been very selective with what we give our support to and what we throw our name behind. There's not many things, but there are some, and this is one of them.
It's true. It's just like when we recommend a band and we have people on, like there's a lot of people that send us information about their band and songs and tell us to listen. And you know, we don't give our time to everybody, but when we do give a recommendation, you should listen. So, absolutely. And last thing I'll say, if maybe you don't want to move into this house, but if you're trying to flip a house, Quinn has great experience with buying and flipping houses, renovating and all that. So he can give you awesome advice on that too. And end of rant. So now we can get onto the music, but we need to do that stuff. You know, we need to, you know, bolster our ability to run this podcast. So.
Exactly. So help us help ourselves and help us help you.
Right.
It's that simple. So let's get into the musical section of this show, episode 112. As we said, this week marks the 6th anniversary of Chris Cornell's death. And Ethan, lately, for some reason, I'm not sure why, I've been feeling a little older. I'm really starting to notice. A couple of weeks ago marked 5 years since I graduated college, and you know, people are getting married, people are getting engaged, people are going through all sorts of life chapter changes. And first, like, there's just something about when Chris Cornell's death happened as it relates to our lives. You know, we were in college, and I remember it so vividly, and it was such a, I don't think it's an exaggeration to call it kind of like an earth-shifting event for us, you know, because at that time we were learning so much from Chris's music and from the music of his peers, and for, you know, him to be here one day and gone the next, it really recalibrated my view on a lot of things. And in some ways it made real what was made real for a lot of people in 1994 when Kurt Cobain died, or, you know, when Lane Staley really began to struggle, and when he ultimately passed away in 2002. You know, for us, you know, we lost Scott Weiland in 2015, but for me, when Chris Cornell died and we woke up, I remember, you know, we got the news and we started texting early in that morning, the following day. It really changed a lot of things. And it is strange that 6 years have passed. 6 years feels like a significant chunk of time. And yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's like a little bit under a quarter of our lives. And yeah, I think kind of, you know, going off what you said, that time of our lives. So, you know, when you're younger, obviously you've experienced less life. So I'm not saying that grief, you know, people experience a lot of grief growing up, maybe before age 15, but, you know, the experience of loss, you know, is still new in that first 25 years of life. And as you get older, I don't want to, you know, you become more numb to it, but like you see more because you're older. You have more
experience with it.
Yeah, like more people pass, and as you get older, more and more people pass. So this came at a time where we're still young, and it's still like, you know, there's less experiences. Since then, tons of artists have passed away, and I'm not saying it gets easier, but it's a different experience. So I think that it was early enough where we're still like, you're still trying to figure out how to process that certain grief or certain like loss.
Mm-hmm. And I think as music fans, we all have that first artist that when they passed away, it changed something for us on some level. And, you know, you go throughout the years and all of the famous artists that have passed away before their time, you know, and as we were saying, I think as it relates to a lot of people that listen to this show, you know, they were teenagers when Kurt Cobain passed away. And I think that was the one that changed things for them. And for us, you know, being born when we were in the mid 90s and coming around to the genre when we did, you know, around 2014 or so, this was really one that changed things for us. And It is a really, really weird feeling, and it's with the passage of time, it almost becomes into that realm that I think of Lane and Kurt in the sense that it's harder for me to realize and understand that like this was a person who you could go see, who people knew, who people loved, who people had experiences with, watching them on stage, and it's a really strange feeling. And like you said, you know, as we get older, you know, that's one of the harder parts about getting older. I had a really good conversation earlier today, you know, with somebody just about how like it is hard to get older, and people that you always knew to be young start to get older, and people start to get sick maybe, and people pass away, and that relates to your musical fandom. And Chris Cornell for us, I think was that person where when they left, it really changed how certain things felt.
Yeah. So we're definitely going to be listening to a lot of Chris, a lot of Soundgarden, as you should. So go back, celebrate his music, celebrate his time that we had.
Yeah. Listen to your favorites, share your favorites with your friends, because that's what you have to do.
Watch some interviews, watch some live performances, and take some time, and then tell the people that you love them, and I mean, cherish the time you have. That's all you can do.
Absolutely, and I think with all of those years that have passed, I mean, we've gotten to this point where we're a part of a community that feels so passionately about this music, and we have a really cool role that we can talk about this music and share in this conversation with people, and that's exactly what we're going to do today as it relates to Chris's work, specifically with Soundgarden, and specifically with the Down on the Upside album, with the anniversary coming up on the 21st. Really excited to kind of take a glance at this album and give our thoughts and give a review, as we do with albums around here. And this is one that I'm kind of surprised that we haven't gotten to thus far. I feel like it's always kind of been lurking, but the time is right to do it today. And I'm looking forward to getting into it because it's got so many songs on here that are so well known and that have been present in our lives for so long now. It's cool that we're going to be able to give it its proper due here on the podcast. So this album was released on May 21st, 1996. As I mentioned, it was the final Soundgarden album before they broke up in 1997. So, and it kind of marked a shift of sorts, certainly from Super Unknown, and especially from Bad Motorfinger early in the 90s. And I kind of think of this one like you need all three of these 90s Soundgarden albums to really get a full view of who the band was at that time, and whether it was the intention or not. I can't help but think of those three as a trilogy of sorts, and this is a logical end point, and it's an end point, and it's an album that they couldn't have made had they not made Super Unknown. Just as if they hadn't made Bad Motorfinger, they wouldn't have been able to make Super Unknown. So Soundgarden's progression just makes sense to me in a way that Pearl Jam's only does to a certain extent. Same thing with Nirvana, same thing with Alice, same thing with a lot of these bands. Like Soundgarden is the leader for me in terms of like you can clearly see the progression, throughout their biggest albums and throughout their most popular period. And this one is just a fantastic transformation. It's like taking things that they've learned, things that they do well, but also exploring other areas that they hadn't, and they give you something that sounds different, but has all of the same ingredients just put together in a different way.
This album as a whole is very, very complex. It has so many, I mean, all their music is, I think, I don't want to say compared to the other bands, but like they have some crazy parts and crazy transitions and movement in this album.
Time signatures too, all over their discography. There's some weird shit going on, crazy tunings too.
Yeah, and you get all of that with this album. I mean, it's a long album. I think there's 14 songs, and it moves around. It really shows everything that they have. And like you said, it's way different than the other two albums. In a good way, they tried new things, and but you still get that Soundgarden that you love. It's still got obviously the vocals and pushing through. Awesome backing vocals and like what's the rounds, or the vocals are harmonies and whatnot, and
everything's layered really perfectly.
Yeah, layered. That's what I'm looking for. It's really good.
It's really interesting too, because when you go back and you read about this, or if you were lucky enough to be alive to have experienced this, when they're doing press at the time in 1996 and in 1997 for this album, they made a point to produce this one a little less than they had Super Unknown and Bad Motorfinger, and this was kind of had more of like a live recording element to it, and it's remarkable that it sounds so complex, given the fact that they were like, hey, we're not going to make this maybe as polished, and we're going to leave in things that had they happened during the Super Unknown sessions, we would have edited out, and they self-produced this one, which is a very, very remarkable accomplishment with the help of Adam Casper there. But it's so cool because at this point, I mean, these guys are so seasoned, and they have the skills to do something like that it's great that they gave themselves the runway to basically be responsible for this thing from start to finish. I think that's really, really admirable. Something else that was different about this record compared to a lot of their previous writing is for these sessions and the whole process, it took a lot less time than a Super Unknown did, for example, because this time around they made the decision and they chose to come into the recording sessions and come into the studio with a lot of their own ideas that were pretty well along towards completion. And I mean, you look at this one, I mean, lyrically, obviously, as Chris does, most of the lyrics are his, but Ben Shepherd, in terms of the music, his hands are all over this one, hands all over, as they say. And this one, it really makes me appreciate Ben Shepherd even more. You think of Ben Shepherd as the guy with the bass around his ankles, just like flying around the stage. But I mean, his ability to write the shit out of these songs. I mean, everywhere you turn, he's in there, and it's different approaches like that create different results. And we have this record because of it.
Everywhere I turn, I see your face, and it is great. So
every breath you take.
So the first song, Pretty Noose, comes in really strong. Obviously, this is probably one of my favorite songs on the album. I mean, maybe it's also first. So I when I put on the album, you always hear this one first. And if you lose some steam heading, you may cut off the second half or something like that. Some people do that. But man, yeah, this first one, I gotta say it's a good driving song. You know what I mean? Like both figuratively, we gotta check the boxes.
Off of the Grunge Bible bingo card.
Gotta check it off, but again, like very, very complex, really good layers all throughout the song, and I love. This is like a sweet spot for Chris's vocals and me. Like I just love how he's singing so like high and but it's like a medium octave and just like really strong, and then with
it's right in his wheelhouse.
With the vocals behind it towards the end, it's really good.
Yeah, it really is. And in terms of just the album, I mean, you start to play this album, you hear this song. I mean, it's going to be a different Soundgarden record. You know that the band is different this time around. And something that's really interesting, so Chris Cornell is responsible for the music and the lyrics. He has credits for both for this one. He has the music and the lyric credits for, in my opinion, the three most successful songs from this record. He's got Pretty Noose, he's got Blow Up the Outside World, and Burn in My Hand. And it's just like, anytime like you're inclined to forget about how talented he was with everything, something like that reminds you of it. And I mean, to write a song like Pretty Noose and those other two that I mentioned, I mean, it's really, really cool. I have a fun story about Pretty Noose. So
yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah. So back when I was in high school, I was conscientious because I had to be, and because I'd crashed my family's computer via LimeWire. So I used to purchase my music from iTunes. So I'd pay like $1 a song. And I decided at that point, I had heard Black Hole Sun, obviously, and I was like, oh, like Soundgarden's pretty cool. So I started listening to them a little bit more, and I came across Pretty Noose, and I think Blow Up the Outside World, and I think Burn in My Hand. And as you do when you're 16 or 17, the girl that I was talking to at the time, I was like, hey, name redacted, I wanna buy one of these songs. Like I need it on my iPod. Like I gotta listen. I gotta warm up for my track meets. Like which one do you think I should download? Knowing full well that like this poor girl like didn't know who the fuck Soundgarden was, and probably doesn't care either, right? But she picked Pretty Noose. So
I was gonna guess Overfloater.
Boot Camp. I can't believe she didn't pick Ty Cobb.
Yeah, I can't believe she didn't pick Dusty.
I know, what a shame. Yeah,
that's awesome. So you did this. So you picked this song for a girl, and wow.
Which, I mean, say what you will. I mean, the lyrics, it doesn't bode well for the relationship at the time. But
right.
Yeah, we never ended up entering into a relationship of sorts. So, but yeah, that's how that one ended up on my iPod when I was a young and fledgling grunge rock fan.
Are you glad? Are you happy that she picked this song?
Yeah, it's a great song. I mean, it's one of the songs, one of my first Soundgarden memories. It was Slaves and Bulldozers, and it was Black Hole Sun. That was my like starter pack for Soundgarden. So
that's awesome.
And it's a great kickoff for the record. And I mean, this whole record, like you said, there's quite a few songs on this one. You know, we've actually got 16 songs on this one, not 14. Jeez. Yeah, it's a long one, but
we gotta get rolling then.
We gotta get rolling.
We gotta get moving.
Let's get moving. It's 10 of midnight here, so let's roll right into Rhinosaur, the second song. Matt Cameron wrote the music for this one, and I mean, I just have to say, hello, Matt. The Matt Cameron Show is back for another season. He's returning here, and I mean, he's just incredible on this one.
He is. I mean, I just love that. Hello, Matt. I mean, yeah, this one's really good. I wrote down the lyrics like, only happy when you hurt me, only deadly in a swarm, only healthy in the dirt, and only empty in your arms. And it is the lyrics on this whole album are really quite deep and quite as they usually are when Chris is writing and whatnot.
But it almost felt like he took it to another level with this album.
Yeah, I would agree. There's some really haunting tracks on this one too, and this one's great. For the longest time, I thought it was. I think I was calling it Rhinoceros, like the Smashing Pumpkins song.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the same.
Or the Jurassic animal. The rhinoceros, but as it relates to the chorus, the lyrics that you just read, I love how he kind of each line he holds that last word for a little bit. You know, he holds heart, he holds swarm, he holds dirt, and he holds arm. And I mean, it's just, you know, this album. Like I said, it's like by this point, like they're so confident and so knowledgeable in what they're able to do as a unit, and they put it together and they just give you exactly what you need. And they do that with a song like Rhinosaur here. So let's move forward. And you mentioned kind of the songwriting and the lyrics, and I just said how they kind of take it to a different level. And the third song here is Zero Chance, music by Ben, but the lyrics from Chris Cornell. And with this one, man, like your heart just hurts for the person that wrote this song. Like you just want to hug the person who put pen to paper and wrote stuff like this. I mean, like I've mentioned it countless times on the show, but you know, they say if you look hard, you'll find your way back home, born without a friend and bound to die alone. And why doesn't anyone believe in loneliness? I mean, this one's heavy. Tough, and the guitar parts for this are so intricate, and they're so complimentary. The sixth string and then the bass guitar. And this one, I mean, they didn't perform it live all the time, but when they did, it was really special. There's some performances of it from later in their career, you know, after they had reunited, and it's really special. And this one, you know, as is so often the case when musicians pass away, it really, you know, you see songs like this in a different light, you know, when the person who wrote the lyrics for something like this passes away, especially, you know, if it's through the manner in which Chris Cornell passed away. But yeah, this one will always affect me. This one will always get me thinking.
Yeah, I love, one of the things I love about this song is the way that Chris kind of stays in that middle ground for vocals, the whole song.
Yeah,
like he's very, I don't want to say it's
gentle,
it's not,
almost.
It's gentle's a better word. I would say like it's not monotone, but it's like that right in that middle where the baritone comes out, and it's just
gentle. It's super smooth too. Like they say, if you look hard, and he holds that hard, brings it up just a little bit. And it's one of like the smoother rides musically that you'll find on this album, because as we'll get into it with a few of these songs that are coming up, I mean, there's just such weird time signatures. There's stops and starts. There's just like soft, and then it's just in your face. And I mean, this one is just such a stark contrast to all of that.
I always think the beginning to this one, and I would love to hear Ed and Pearl Jam cover this one. I don't know why. I feel
that would be cool.
Like hearing the intro and hearing the guitar, like I can just see them playing this and hearing Ed singing it, and I would love to have them do a cover of it. For some reason, it's like first thing I thought about when I was listening today.
Yeah, that's interesting. That would be really cool. Well, we'll just get AI to do it, since fucking AI is ruining everything. And I'm seeing all these like
getting out of hand
stupid shit. It's like, oh, this is like AI of Kurt Cobain singing Wood. I'm like, I don't want to hear it. Like I like, don't fucking send me that shit. I hate it. I think it's awful. It's a cesspool of shit on the internet, and I don't want any part of it.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So the next song, fourth song, Dusty.
And this one is skyrocketing up the ranks for me.
Yes, I was gonna say this one is a sleeper. It's not really. I mean, there's plenty other sleepers, probably
There's a lot of sleepers.
more warranting the word. But again, this one, like, I just love that middle ground that Chris is accessing for the verses for this one, and it's such a fun like riff on the guitar while he's singing over it. It's a fun song. This is a really good one.
It's so cool too because this is
really
like
positive, and it's like the vocals are positive.
This is like one of the happier songs that they wrote, and I always think of this one as like this is written by the same person, the same character, the same protagonist, was writing and talking in Fell on Black Days from Super Unknown. You know, that person, things had gone wrong in their life, and you know, they always feared that it would come around again, and it's always out there somewhere. And something like this, it's like, I think it's turning back around, and I think I like it. It's like, I don't know why, but now I'm down on the upside. Nothing's gonna put me out, and it's really kind of illuminating and victorious in a way that you don't get often. With Soundgarden, with Chris Cornell lyrics, especially, you know, around this time, and it's really special for that reason. And you know, obviously, I love the fact that it's got the lyrics that became the title of the album, "Down on the Upside." And there's a couple of sayings that will come across on this record that I love, and I'm down on the upside.
Well, I say, Chris, I actually wrote that down. So, what do you believe that to mean? Down on the upside, like. You know, how do you take that in a way?
Well, on its own, I mean, it could be just about anything. But as it relates to this song, it's like you're just back on the upside, I guess. I don't know, and like you're coming back around because you can feel it coming back around. You think you like it. I don't know. It's a difficult, like when you read the title of the album, it kind of sounds like not sinister, but it's like everything's kind of backwards and confused, and like you're not grounded anywhere. But I think there's a good element of that too, because it's like, you know, with Fell on Black Days, and I mean, it's coming right off of a song like Zero Chance. I mean, there's no permanence to these situations and these states of mind that you find yourself in. It's like you're here in one space for a little bit, and then you're moving around. And it's like, if you're down on the upside, I mean, you're not anchored at all. You're just kind of moving around as things come and go. So maybe I think that's what it means to me a little bit. Yeah. You have any thoughts?
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's just like when things are so rough and then they start getting better, but then you face those, like, you know, there's things that bring you down, like when you're on your way up, like, and you know, and it's like, you know, you have a choice kind of thing, like, you know, you're kind of at a crossroads when you know, you got to keep it moving forward and stuff. You got to keep turning it around. You can't let the down keep you down, type of thing.
Yeah, totally.
But I do love it. It's a great album title, and like, it's just simple set of words that make it, you know, are great.
And it comes from a great song. Speaking of great songs, let's move on to the fifth track of Down on the Upside, and that is none other than Ty Cobb. And Ethan, I have to say, I love how like it begins with it's almost like a nursery rhyme box or something. Yeah, and then it just fucking explodes, and it's just so in your face. And the chorus of this is so great. It's just Chris like very quickly repeating hard-headed fuck you all, hard-headed fuck you all. I don't even know what any of that means. Yeah. But this one is great. And it's Ty Cobb. I mean, it's titled after the Georgia Peach, one of the most skilled hitters in baseball history. Got 4,000 hits to his name. He played for the Tigers in the 1910s.
Big Hall guy.
Way back in the day. Oh, small hall. He was a part of the first Hall of Fame class. Ty Cobb.
Small. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
First class.
He would be in regardless. And I'm a big hall guy, so he would obviously be in. But Ty Cobb, man. This is just fast, and it's hard, man. It's Soundgarden.
It's super punk, like, and isn't there like some mandolin in there, like,
I think so. It's definitely, I know it's on the record. Yeah, there's some
high strung instrument. Yeah, and when I hear this, like, this is just something that they probably had a blast playing in the studio. Like, they wrote it. It's like simple in a way, lyrically.
It's fun to play, and Kim lives to play shit like this.
And they all can yell. Yeah, yes, exactly. I mean, yeah, it's like some weird strings, and then the drums come back in like heavy. I mean, it's fun. It's a fun song. it's very chaotic in like the best
It
way.
is. Yeah, and it's so cool because there's a lot on this album that's super intricate and super precise, and this one is just like let's let loose and just hammer away, and they certainly were able to do that on Ty Cobb. But let's move forward to the next song, "Blow Up the Outside World," which we had mentioned earlier. Chris Cornell providing the music and the lyrics. My first thought for this one is the same thought as it relates to Zero Chance, and like you just feel for the person that wrote something like this, and I think this also kind of comes from the same character that was writing and experiencing what happens in Fell on Black Days. I mean, there's so much self-awareness about your own state of mind and your own limitations. Nothing can break me at all, not one for giving up, though not invincible, I know. Nothing can do me in before I do myself. And I mean, this one's so captivating. And Chris used to perform this solo, and he used to use like a loop pedal at the end. It was so cool. But this one, believe it or not, Ethan, this song features my favorite bridge out of any Soundgarden song ever. I just love the way that it breaks down, and I love the way that Chris just like holds these words over the top of this bridge, and I could listen over and over again when he starts singing. His voice starts getting a little higher, and he says, "Trying though I know it's wrong, blowing it to hell and gone, wishing though I never could, blow up the outside world," and just over and over and over again, blow up the outside world. This one is just a masterpiece. So good.
That is a really, really amazing bridge.
It just goes and then he starts kicking in over, and it's so good.
Just a masterclass when it comes to songwriting. Every piece fits really well. The ups and downs, takes you on a ride, exactly what you want. Yeah, man, this is a really good one.
Yeah, and you can say the same thing for the next song that's coming up.
This is a good stretch. Yeah,
"Burden in My Hand." Yeah, we're hitting a pretty good stride here. Yeah. In "Burden in My Hand," it's just another banger. Chris Cornell doing it all here. And obviously, I think this is one that's for casual music fans and casual Soundgarden fans. This is one that's probably front of mind. The acoustic guitar to lead into this, and Chris's voice, they're so complimentary of one another, and it really makes sense why his acoustic tours were so critically acclaimed. And I don't think anybody ever went to a Chris Cornell acoustic show and regretted it. Just as I don't think anybody regrets, listening to a song like "Burden in My Hand." But once again, once this one starts going and the drums kick in and Matt Cameron does a fantastic job, as he always does, this one drives pretty well too, even though it's not the loud, heavy in your face like a Ty Cobb. It's got that element to it. And
you can kind of beep bop around like if you're in the crowd, and and then bring it up big for the chorus and stuff. And
you totally can with this one. And it's got a lot of great, I love the line, "I lost my head again, would you lie for me?"
Yeah. And this one you hear, obviously, it gets a ton of exposure. It's one of the bigger songs on the radio that comes on. So everybody's well versed in this one, for good reason. I don't know if I put it at. Do you like "Burden" better than "Blow Up the Outside World"?
No, I don't. Just because I absolutely adore "Blow Up the Outside World," but it's a tough decision for sure. And once again, like just as I was saying, as it relates to the bridge. And just like I could listen to like those like 20 seconds of the bridge where he's like, "Trying though I know it's wrong." Same thing with this one, like the beginning of the second verse, "Close your eyes and bow your head, I need a little sympathy, because fear's strong and love's for everyone who isn't me." I could listen to that part on a loop over and over again and I wouldn't get tired of it. I don't know why, it's just captivating to me.
Yeah. Damn, his lyrics, the lyrics are just so every time
cool,
you read them back, they're just like,
it
stops you for a second. Like someone writes, just they have unlimited lyrics when it comes to this type of heaviness, or like clever heaviness and haunting. But then we got the next one, "Apple Bite," I believe. And
never named. You skipped. I'm sorry, never named.
I skipped never named. Well,
named, never spoken about.
I wrote. This one is the pace of Soundgarden that I do not adore. This is
a challenging listen. This challenges the listener.
Yeah, sometimes when they go super, sometimes when they get in that punky, like really fast I can check out a little bit, and I think it's because it doesn't let Chris's voice have air to breathe, basically. But like every time they do something super fast, you know.
Well, this one's got those abrupt stops and starts too that I'm not the most fond of. I mean, even with a song like Ty Cobb, like I don't love the song.
Yeah,
I said it. I couldn't bring myself to say it when we were talking about it, but now I feel comfortable.
Yeah, there's a few on here that like I just put like it's just not my pace for Soundgarden. Like there's so much other stuff, and that's why like. Yeah, like
but
Burden.
It's so weird. Like you imagine a set list, like you're getting this, and like a couple of songs later, you're gonna hear something like the 15-minute epic sludge jam that they make like slaves and bulldozers. It speaks to the versatility, but it's like everybody's got something, and I know there's somebody out there that never named. Like they wait for that one.
Every band's got a few never named. They got to throw in there in between.
A few Brothers the Cloud.
in between songs and.
But that's okay.
But it's still good, and I think that if I were to, spend even more time with it, then it would sink in a little bit differently.
Yeah.
But
well, I think in the same way, like because I think I feel that way about this album as a whole. Like I needed for this one to not be the first Soundgarden album that I dove into. Like my entry was Super Unknown, and then you go back. For me, I went back to Bad Motorfinger, and then I hopped forward to this one. I needed to learn about the band before I got into this one, and maybe I need to learn more about the band before I get into Never Named, but that's okay, because we've got other songs, and we're going to move. We're going to move into the back eight right here. We finished the front eight. Let's get to the back eight, the apple bite.
Talk about a change of pace compared to Never Named. I mean, this is like 5 minutes of just... It's like the most ominous, like
it's so brooding and
scenery.
Plotting.
Yeah, like it is quite the song. I like it. I like the like strangeness to it because it is strange.
It's so fucked up. Like this is a song that like I would be nervous to listen to late at night for over and over again.
The lights are out. Like this makes me think that somebody's outside my door. Like,
yeah, dude,
it really does.
It's so good, and something that I wrote about this, and something that I think about this song. I think if they had taken a song like Applebite into the studio in 1991 or 1994, I think it's a much heavier song. It's got the pace that if a 91 Soundgarden went in and tried to cut this, it would get filled up. There'd be a lot more noise. It would be heavier. But this one, that absence of like what you're expecting makes it just so eerie. This is it's not often that songs like give you the creeps a little bit, and this is one that does it.
Yeah, and there's some some people don't like watching. Like film is a good thing. If movies pull out feelings that, like anger or like if you're like suspense and all that stuff, that's a good thing. And when you have songs like this that make you have those really uneasy feelings, like that's a job well done by them. Like they did it, like they did exactly what they were trying to do. And that's give you something to be like, uncomfortable with a little bit.
Totally.
It would be really cool to, pull up some live if they have any. I don't even know if they have a live performance.
Applebite. I'm sure maybe on that 96 and 97 tour that they put it. But it's got to be a really difficult song to play live. Because of what's going on here. Let's move forward to number 10. So a point of contention with this album at the time, Kim Thayil didn't have the biggest of contributions in terms of the songwriting to this, but this song is entirely Kim Thayil's. He wrote the music and he wrote the lyrics for this one as well. And I'm just going to read the first verse. I can't live when it lives. It won't live if I die. Machine has no heart to give. Heart it takes could be mine. And I want to follow that up with a quote that Kim once said regarding this song, regarding what it's about. And he said that the song is about a life and death match between an individual and a less specifically defined entity. And yes, it's based on a personal experience. That's fucking incredible. It sounds to me like Kim Thayil was maybe listening to Applebite a little too late in the night, a little too many times in a row. If he wound up in this life and death match with a less specifically defined entity.
I can't live when it
terrifying.
lives. It won't live if I die.
That's fucking come on out from where you hide.
Damn.
Stalemate, machine and tie.
This is wow. I'm looking at the lyrics as well right now.
I need to spend more time with this song. Hopefully, if I remember right, in episode 113 next week, I need to follow up on Never the Machine Forever, because this is this is
something else.
Like I'm scared.
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm really curious. Scared. This is another one where Cameron on the drums is just like, it's just so complex, and it's a classic. It's classic him where you have a song and he puts this really kind of crazy beat behind it, and then they just fill it all around. He does that on a few, like most of the tracks. Really, he's always got some crazy beat, and it's awesome.
He's got it there. That's for sure.
That's awesome. That's a good quote. I love that.
It's based on a personal experience. I love the fact that in the interview, the person doing the interview didn't even have to ask, and Kim just knew. He was like, it's based on this battle, and before you ask, yes, it's based on a true story, a personal experience. That is terrifying. That might be scarier than Applebite. Can you imagine being involved in a life and death fight with a less specifically defined entity?
Never the Machine Forever.
That's so fucking scary, because it's there for forever. Oh man, yeah, we need to move on. I feel like Applebite and Never the Machine Forever. It's like that thing when you're a kid, when they used to tell you like, don't go into the don't stand in front of a mirror in the dark and like say Bloody Mary like 3 times in a row, or else like something bad's gonna happen. Like I feel it's like, don't listen to Applebite and Never the Machine Forever between the hours of 2 and 3 in the morning or something.
In your southwest corridor of your house.
It's like, I knew a guy who did that once. He doesn't come around anymore.
Jeez, that is scary.
Oh, man. Yeah, let's move forward to Tighter and Tighter, the 11th track. Chris Cornell music and lyrics for this one. This one feels like a throwback to 80s Soundgarden. This one reminds me so much of their cover of Smokestack Lightning. And it's a really good departure, I think, from a lot of what they were doing on this record, in the sense that this territory that they occupy with this song kind of feels a little more familiar, especially coming off the heels of Applebite and Never the Machine Forever. Like you need this song where it is.
It
like,
takes you back to some comfort.
Yeah, because there's not much to be found in those previous 2 songs.
And this song is this is a winner for me. This is the perfect meld of like the psychedelic Soundgarden that we love. The psychedelic kind of metal, like slow metal, that is done so well by this band, where they play so heavy, but then there's room, and then Chris is singing, and he's got that little like, modification to the voice a little bit, and it's so psychedelic and trippy in like a metal way, which I love. Like there's not many bands that do this correctly. It can sound so cheap when other people do it, and this song is top notch.
They just had it in their hands, in their DNA, that they could take something like that. They could take a blueprint like that and just make it perfect.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an easy song to pull off, and like I really don't know if anybody else could do it. Yeah. Like, so this is one of my favorites of this album for sure.
Yeah. Let's move forward to one that's one of my favorites on this album.
Oh, all right.
The next song. Yeah, I'm a big No Attention guy. Just like, I don't even want to talk about the first 2/3 of the song. But like when Chris Cornell starts hammering in the middle, just starts screaming "No Attention" over and over again, and Matt Cameron comes in and calls the fucking shots, and he starts that shift change at the beginning, towards the end of the song, and Chris comes in, they're going to tell you where to walk, when to smile, and just what to say. It's so hard driving and so cool. There's a really good sound check recording of this song from, I believe, from the Down on the Upside tour from, I think, late 1996, that Matt, like, sound checking this song. I mean, Chris Cornell is screaming in this song, and Matt Cameron is playing the living piss out of his drums. I mean, he's calling the shots, and it's just, it's Matt. And this song it's so good. It's so driving. It's so just, It's awesome.
And this
It's
this
like
one's
classic rock almost, like Bonham type shit. Like
and this one's a build. And when I say a build, like as the song goes, it gets better and better. Like because that beginning, I don't really like the beginning, like minute and a half, and then
like
it gets,
you said, this is like the Soundgarden zone that you don't love, but then it changes.
Yes, exactly. I wrote down like not my favorite, but then Redemption. It goes way back to a total different space of like, they're just jamming so well together. Mm-hmm. Really good. It's not overdone like some of the other stuff. It's good.
Yeah,
I'm happy to know that this is one of your favorites.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Specifically for that last like minute and a half.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So good.
Really good.
We're gonna move forward to the 13th song, which is "Switch Opens," which is a musical creation of Ben Shepherd, and I just need to take a minute and talk about the heavy lifting that Ben Shepherd did on this record. I mean, everywhere you turn, as I said, he's got the music credits for this. I mean, he came in to the Down on the Upside recording sessions ready to play. Mm-hmm. And he was all over the place. He's giving you something, in this case, like "Switch Opens," which is, the opening is it's so delicate and it's airy. The layering of the vocals are just perfect. And this is kind of like a cousin, I think, of like an apple bite. It just kind of feels like that, but not nearly as scary. But I love this is like, for this era of Soundgarden, like what they tried to do on this album, this is a perfect example of it, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you said it perfectly. Again, I think Matt does a good job of letting, like you said, Ben play and the rest of the other bands shine a little bit here. Yeah. And I really appreciate what they do and how they work together with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be playing this one a little bit more moving forward.
Yeah, it's a good one, and another one that's a really good one is this is a moment that's been highly anticipated, I think, as it relates to this specific episode, and that is the 14th song, "Overfloater." Ethan, I think I said this to you beforehand. I posted this song recently. I think we've all been the overfloater at one point or another.
I agree, dude. I
just feel like sometimes you're the overfloater. You're on the wire over and higher.
Yeah, what is an overfloater then?
It's whatever it feels like.
It feels like the song feels like, you're almost like floating in a sea, like you're stuck out at sea with like a lifeline that comes in halfway and pulls you back. And
I love the line too. Yeah, that you'll see from time to time in the song. "Nothing's gonna pinch this nerve of mine. I want to make it right. Over the pretense, over the spire, on and connected, I'm overfloating now.
Yeah.
Remember to forget and then rename your shame." Yeah, this is a really good one. I think same thing, like a "Switch Opens." Like this is like whatever formula that they saw in their head for what they wanted to do for this album, they hit the nail on the head with these.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think this one, it's a good 5-minute ballad, and it's just like a really steady song that allows, it's a really steady performance by the band, and it's, I feel like the more you listen to it, the better it gets. And I think
this is a good repeater. Like you can listen to this one over and over again.
Yeah, this is gonna be
it's not as scary as Applebite.
No, it's not. This is gonna be the one if we had to pick 3 songs for people to listen to more, this is on there.
Oh yeah. This one, and "Fresh Tendrils," obviously, from Super Unknown. I mean, there's a few songs like that you just gotta listen to.
They just do a great job of like the last minute of all of these songs are so good, and this one's a really good example where like. Yeah. If you're not feeling the beginning and all of whatever, just get to the end, get to the last minute and a half where they start playing it out, and you get what you came for.
I love how the chorus ends a few times here too, where like you hit that like, "Oh no no no," like Chris sounds like he's talking to you through like a payphone or something. Really really cool. This is a great song. We've got 2 left on this record. The 15th song is a little song called "An Unkind." Ben Shepherd lyrics and music. This one, the note that I wrote for this one is that it was Ty Cobb's brother. I don't really.
More like never named brother is what I would have wrote.
Yeah, man.
Again, it's just that pace that like
it's just not for us.
I can't get behind it, and it's a very specific. Like when you listen to those couple songs, like you know what we're talking about, and
yeah.
I think I did read something. I read a YouTube comment that said that this song, along with like Burden, made the album. And let me see. It says, the more you start to listen to and get used to the full album, the more powerful this song feels. It's completely bone-chilling in a way that no other song on this record is. And immediately, all caps, followed by Boot Camp. Outstanding ending to a fantastically underrated album. This song is half the power. I don't know.
Despite being 1/16 of the record, it's 50% of the power.
It's half the power along with Boot Camp.
Show me the power, child. Give me the unkind.
So I read this, and I'm just wondering, like,
what
this is the most powerful song. It's completely bone chilling. What am I missing? And because I want to get there. So
I'd love to get there. I would love to get there.
Puff GD is his name.
Jesus Christ. That's amazing. Speaking of Jesus Christ, though.
Speaking of Jesus Christ.
I actually need to make. That's the best segue that I could have done. Speaking of Jesus Christ, there are a lot of religious references on this record, like Applebite, the Garden of Eden type thing. Overfloater, we just had one over the spire. This one, we couldn't look the saints in the eyes. We lacked the Moses to look the saints in the eyes. On the storm, it's time to go. There's really like kind of like Old Testament apocalypse type shit going on in this record from time to time, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's written and he's included, religious overtones before, I think back to a song like 4th of July, obviously with Jesus down in the hole, trying to crack a smile. And
Jesus Christ pose.
Jesus Christ pose. Written for the picture that Chris Cafaro took.
Yep. Have to say it, yeah.
I can't believe like what I just did, Ethan, validates the entire Grunge Bible podcast experience for me. I was able to use the segue. Speaking of Jesus Christ,
that is one of the all timers that
I made it. Yeah, I've done it.
You've made it as the podcast host right there.
Yep, I've fucking done it.
You officially can transition anything.
Yeah, I can fucking do anything.
You could transition the fuck out of this.
Yeah, man, I totally can.
Well, take us into boot camp. I guess the only transition we need to know is that
it's half the power. This is the other half of the power.
That it is half the power, and it's followed immediately by Boot Camp.
Yeah,
this is a great song to end it with. I
love this song.
I know you're a big fan of this one.
I love this song, the studio version. I love what they used to do live. They used to do their cover of Helter Skelter by the Beatles directly into Boot Camp, and their Helter Skelter cover is so awesome. It's perfect. You've got Kim like giving his short bursts. You've got Chris. You've got everybody. Ben, Matt, the whole gang. And this song, once again, there's Soundgarden. They were so good, like you said, like the last portions of the songs. Yeah. In this one, like all the riffs come up, like it's kind of building to a point, and it's kind of like you hear it's like lightning just like pulsing through the sky, and when they get to the end, there must be something else. There must be something good far away, and everything's building far away from here, and I'll be here for good. I mean, what a way to end this record. And for a long time, this was the last Soundgarden album.
Yeah, I would say this is like how they left it for 12 years or whatever. I mean,
yeah, well, because this one came out in May of 1996, and they played their final show February 9th, 1997, so not even a year later. And they announced that they had broken up on April 9th, 1997, so less than a year after this thing came out. The band had broken up and they wouldn't reunite until 2010. So, I mean, this is what a wild like epitaph to leave. Mm-hmm. And this song is really, really good. Once again, more biblical overtones. Angels in a cage. I must be pure and true. I must contain my views. this is a really, really great one. And it's just kind of this one, like when this one stops, you just like, you take a second just to process it in dead airspace. Like you don't listen to anything else after this one. You're just like, I need to reflect,
decompress,
and take that one in. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, this has like that. It's very like psychedelic and kind of moody all throughout the song, and it paints a picture, creates scenery, however you want to say it, and puts you right there. And that's a sign of a good song in my mind. Like it takes you to a place that you can inhabit for 4 minutes, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. So. Closing thought I have about this album, I think this is really one that I grew into as a music fan, and I grew into as a Soundgarden fan, and it was so important to be able to kind of connect the dots like through their progression, and as I said, like I got into them, like the first Soundgarden album that I loved was Super Unknown, and then I spent more time with Bad Motor Finger, and then lately I really appreciate this album just because of just how different it is, and it's got so many different elements of what made this band great, and they're all here, and you wouldn't be able to understand the band, I think, without this record.
Yep, I couldn't have said it better. I think underrated is a word that maybe gets thrown around the music industry, but if you compare it to the other albums and how
it truly is,
how different it can be viewed as, and what they did and the complexity of it. Some people don't admire the complexity, but that's what makes it underrated in a way. It's like what they were able to accomplish with with the four of them, and it is a really complete album, and
and it's one of those things like bands like this, like not every band, like not all bands are able to break the mold that they created for themselves with their prior more popular work, but some do. Soundgarden certainly did with this.
And with that, we say thank you for staying with us to hear our rant on all of these beautiful songs.
I was all over the place. I even threw in a rant against AI. So sorry about that. I gotta kind of.
It was needed. Away. It was very necessary.
I believe what I said. So
right.
Every word I said is what I mean.
Exactly.
We got another one in there.
Yeah, that's good. That's a really solid album. Go ahead, definitely be listening to that. Chris, if you had to pick one song to tell the people to listen to off this album, where are you pointing them?
Well, if it's
Ty Cobb,
if it's all timer, like if this is like my holistic experience as a Soundgarden fan, I think I would pick Zero Chance. But I'm going to pick a different song for my song of the week that's off of this album, though.
Okay.
That we're gonna get.
Oh yeah. Let's do that right now. Then we'll just go right now.
Yeah, man.
So you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Because I got a funny little anecdote for my song of the week. So
perfect. Yep, I will do mine because this is what I'm going to be doing. But I strongly implore everybody to go. Let's listen collectively to Never the Machine Forever and try to figure out what's going on there. So that's going to be my song of the week.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So my song is completely different and will be a challenge for everybody if you're listening to the playlist and it comes on. And I'm not even really sure. I mean, I don't know what the song is about at all, because it's actually I'm in this mode where to get pumped up, I like listening to stuff that either instrumental or lyrics that I can't understand. So Russian rap is where I'm like. Russian deep rap is where I'm at right now.
I've seen some of this on some of your playlists.
Yeah, and I found a song yesterday and I put it on my story because I was because the one javelin thrower that I coach, I gave him this playlist I used to pump up, and it like really worked for him, and we've just been like enjoying it. But I posted this song. I have no idea what the title is or the name of it because I don't speak Russian. And someone swiped up and said, "This song sucks. Trust me, I'm Russian." And I was like,
"That's incredible."
Yeah, and I was like, I responded with the Adam Sandler from Uncut Gems. It's just him saying, "I disagree." And but I said, "But I'm open for recommendations." And then he said that he's been following the Grunge Bible since 2018 and listens to the pod. He says, "Thank you. You guys produce great content. Hope you don't mention pineapple syrup," in quotes. That's the title of the song in English. as the song of the week in your upcoming podcast. So
shout out
shout out to my guy for swiping up and telling me not to listen to the song or put it on the songs of the week. But I wanted to give you a shout out because we care about our fans. And if you guys reach out to us, we will do our best to incorporate into the podcast, or whether it be trolling or whatnot. But my song of the week is Pineapple Syrup by a Russian band that I don't know. So
that's amazing. I'm really happy to have that as a part of the lineage of the Grunge Bible podcast Songs of the Week.
Following since 2018. That's like 5 years.
He's an early adopter, yeah. That's a long time.
It's been a while. So that's awesome. It's really good.
We sucked then. I mean, we still suck now, but
how many people do you think listen to every single podcast episode?
There's a good amount, I think.
Think so?
Yeah, people. I mean, it's routine.
I think people backlog too. Go back and
for sure. Well, I'll get we'll get DMs from time to time, and people will be like, "Hey, like just listen to episode like 86. Like that was really good. Like I really liked this part." Like we just got a message. I mean, it's not that long ago, but somebody just hopped in our inbox like yesterday, telling us that we did a good job with the summer hits of the 90s episode that we did a month or two ago. So it's cool. You know, we've got people out there. So awesome. If you listen to every episode, tell us. We want to hear.
Yep. Keep it up. We got more coming. So
yeah, we do.
Well,
buy
Chris,
a house, will you?
Buy a house. Quintessential Real Estate, Quinn Shalloway at Gmail. He's our one and only sponsor besides our Patreon supporters. So, but Chris, it's getting late over in the East Coast, huh?
There's 12:30 in the morning. I got to shower. I gotta put this setup away too. It's awful.
We got to break down the set, dude.
Fuck yeah, man. I don't have any bull gang to do that. It's just me.
You got to get up early?
No, not too early. Like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Nothing out of the norm.
No, yeah. I'm used. That's late for me. I'm normally a 5:30 guy. So not tomorrow though, but that's okay because some are.
Some do. Well, guys,
some do.
Thank you again so much for joining us. We will be back next week with another great episode. Please please share, and we'll keep doing it. So, Chris, thank you again, man.
Yeah, thanks, Ethan. Thanks for having me.
Rock and roll, everybody. Take care.
Rock and roll. Some do, and some will.
Some do.